So far this year, over 527,000 new sellers have joined Amazon marketplaces. That equals to 2,820 new sellers per day on an average of 2 new sellers per minute. Okay, it is projected as of right now that we will have over 1,029,528 new sellers in Amazon marketplaces in 2019. Guys, finally happened. Amazon is dead. No one else can sell on it. It's saturated. It's done. The opportunity's gone. It's all over. I'm not going to make any more money, and I'm going to go broke. My entire business is just... So before we get all caught up in this, right, let's just say one thing. Amazon grew by $55.02 billion from 2017 to 2018. All right, that's more than they did total for 2011, which was $48.08 billion in the year completely, okay? So let's just see really, really quickly what's going on here, right? So they did $232 billion in 2018, and that's projected to actually now hit $258 billion in 2019. So there is so much opportunity, it's not even funny, all right? There are, over 200,000 sellers on Amazon that are making 6 figures, all right? So they're making over 100 grand. And that number grew 43% from 2017. The 7-figure sellers, people that are making over $1 million, grew 20% from 2017. All right, there is so much opportunity, and not to mention just those facts, but also over 50% of those sales, that actual revenue, was by third-party sellers like you and me. All right. And that is something that I want you to resonate with and want you to sink in. All right. Because starting out, Amazon dominated. And it was one of those things where, yes, it was, completely Amazon taking over that. But over the past few years, third-party sellers have kind of taken over the marketplace. And it's incredibly interesting to me, I guess, that people freak out about that the opportunity's gone, because it's not. And here's the thing is that the days of taking a random product and being like, oh, you know what, like this trinket, like let's put it online and sell it. Yes, those days are dead. That's over, right? Just carelessly putting up products, carelessly, let's just find some cheap Alibaba thing and like maybe there's an okay profit margin and throw it up and it's going to work. Yes, that's over. But here's the beautiful thing, right? People freak out because Amazon keeps changing its rules, keeps changing its regulations, keeps changing, the review process, and, constantly things are evolving. And there's a few things I want to hit on with that, because one is that people are so afraid to go and sell because they, think back, 50 years ago, yes, you needed, hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a business, right? You needed a huge warehouse. You needed a bunch of employees. You needed all these other things. But guys, let's talk about really quickly that actually 73% of third-party sellers have between 1 and 5 employees. And a lot of those people typically work for themselves, or it's like a married couple, all right? That should say something to you. Over 50% of their total sales, right? So half of $232 billion is sold by third-party sellers, and 73% of them have between 1 and 5 employees, all right? And then within that, all right, there are over 200,000 Amazon FBA sellers that are making at least 100 grand a year, at least. Right? And only in 2015, there were more like 75, right? And then 2016, there were 100,000 people that were making over 100K. And over 100K could mean up to millions, all right? That doesn't mean it's just 100K. So I want people to start looking at this opportunity, and instead of finding the negatives, instead of finding rationales of why not to pursue it, why don't you go look at the data that actually supports you going for it? It's so easy to make excuses, and so many people do that. And here's the hard part is there's information overload, right? People don't hone in and pick one thing. And like my last video, I was talking about Shopify versus Amazon, right? And we could talk about, even in Amazon, you could talk about running Facebook ads versus Google AdWords versus PPC versus Pinterest versus Instagram versus, Snapchat. We can break this down in so many different ways, but at the end of the day, action takers are money makers, right? So many people get so caught up in, okay, so there's all this money to be made and, there's, all this opportunity, but between all of, the actual product costs up front and between your PPC and between, all the Amazon fees and everything else too, there's no money left over. There's nothing left. In fact, actually, the average profit margin is between 20 and 30%. All right. So there's plenty of money to be made.
Another huge misconception is that most categories are actually saturated, okay? So there's a huge number of categories you can go and play in, but realize one thing. When people say that it's saturated, there are some niches, there are some parts of those categories that, yes, they're very, very hard to go and compete in, but Amazon has a total of just shy of 120 million different products. Okay, so there's so much opportunity. And the thing is, too, where we live right now in the time that things are rapidly evolving, think about like blue light blocking glasses. Those are new within the past few years and they're trending upward. All right, there's new products coming out, there's new inventions that are mass scale that actually end up being great Amazon products. Okay, so like we've said before, if you go and invent something, that's not a good thing to put on Amazon right away. But as these things become bigger and bigger market shares and more and more known, then there's more and more room to play, and there's constantly things like this being added. So there is an endless opportunity on Amazon in this capacity.
It's just you need to actually have the correct formula. You need to go out and find someone that has a proven blueprint to actually emulate and be able to learn from to be successful in this business. And the other thing is, too, I'm going to say this again and again and again on this channel, but this is a business. So many people think that it's like, oh, it's a hobby. I can sell on the side. I can kind of make some money. It'll be great. No, this is a business. You treat it like a business. It'll pay you like a business. Treat it like a hobby. It'll pay you like a hobby. If not, you'll just lose money. All right. So you need to understand the entire formula from start to finish, how the whole model works, and then go and execute on that. All right. So there's a ton of different steps that people get overwhelmed with, but break them down incrementally, and anybody can be successful in this business, and you can make a lot of money doing this. And the beautiful part about this is that it becomes very automated once you're up and established. But to get established takes a long time and a lot of effort. Okay. So just understand that I encourage you to start looking at this model more in depth and stop jumping around from the shiny object syndrome. All right, people jump and they just see, oh, I can do wholesale, oh, I can do drop shipping, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Pick something and stick with it. If you don't see the potential on Amazon FBA, that's fine. But the people that are like, oh, the people selling courses, or oh, the people offering mentorship, or oh, the people trying to help, like, there's so much money to be made on this platform and on this model that if you come in and you compete with me on a product, I'm not scared of that. I'm well enough established that it doesn't matter, okay? That at the end of the day, I want to see other people leave their 9 to 5. I want to see other people thrive and other people actually start doing well. And whether you learn from me, you learn from somebody else, that's fine. But find somebody that will help you, because the biggest mistake people make is not starting. Because as you know, and as you've heard multiple times, the best time to get started was 10 years ago. And then the second best time is right now. And actually, I'd argue that right now is probably better than 10 years ago. Okay. So get started. But once you get started, find someone to work with. Find someone that actually knows what they're doing. Don't try to piecemeal this thing together by watching these different YouTube videos and being like, oh, I do this, 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 and this. And then go out and try to execute on it, because you're going to have questions. There are going to be obstacles. There's going to be, things that you have to overcome. And that's entrepreneurship anyway. But it's so much easier when you have a mentor, you have a course you've taken, but you also have a community of people you can talk to and ask questions. All right. So we have a free Facebook group down below that's what we're doing there. We're literally discussing and helping out one another, and we're validating product research, or dealing with issues with PPC or inventory or shipping or customs or whatever it is. All right, whatever someone's struggling with, we have a community that we've built up that is helping implement that with one another. So my whole thing with this is that I hear time and time again that this opportunity's gone, it's over. It's not. It's not even close to over, and in fact, it's just growing. So the sooner you get started, the sooner you start taking a piece of this, the better off you're going to be. All right. In 2019, there's no real reason, right? I had a conversation with someone the other day, and this is a complete side note, but your college degree used to be super, super valuable back when not many people had them, because you now had a piece of paper that said you're an expert in something. But guess what? Everyone now has a piece of paper that says they're an expert at something, but hasn't actually gone out and done it. They don't have any experience with it. They don't have a tried and true method. But you can get that. You can actually get that for way cheaper than a college degree now. You can find these models. You can find these validations. You can find people that have done this and are willing to help others. All right. Yes, there are some people out there pushing courses that are just to sell courses. There's other people out there that actually want to make an impact and actually want to see you change. So if you found some value in this, hit subscribe, like, or do both, and then come join our Facebook group. All right, guys.